welcome to this, and this will be a quick question and answer. Well, not too quick, but it will be a question and answer, and with maybe a rant at the end. We'll have to wait and see, but there might be a little rant at the end on the last question, but we will have to wait and see how that goes. I'm not exactly sure, but oh well. Let's get started. And as always, let me start off with this. If you have a question for me, wrestling related, MMA related as well, when I get enough MMA questions, I will do a video, an MMA question and answer video. But if you have a question you want me to answer, send it to me. I ask that you keep it as short as possible, and that you also, make it a question that is not, a question that's going to be a video in and of itself. And also one question per person, please. That is all that I ask. And let us get started here. What are your honest thoughts on Chris Jericho, and what was your favorite WWE or WC moment that included Jericho? I think Chris Jericho is even somewhat, well, I shouldn't say he's underrated, but I don't think he is still at the level that he could have been if he had been used right back before he left the WWE. I think he would probably be the man now in WWE if that had not been the case. But I go to the point that I think he left the WWE out of pure frustration of a lot of stuff going on in the WWE at the time. So there is that. As far as the best moment, my favorite moment without a doubt is when he debuted in the WWE on Raw. That was amazing, and still one of my favorite moments, and I watch it a lot. And my other favorite moment, which also happened in the WWE or WWF, was when he beat Triple H for the belt, which didn't count. I liked that too. That was really good up until he had to give back the belt. But those would probably be my two favorite moments with him. With the large number of former pro wrestling kids in WWE's development, does that diminish the importance of it? I would say no, only because this kind of thing goes through phases. In the 70s, you had a lot of second-generation, third-generation wrestlers. You did in the 80s, too, but they didn't necessarily bring up the fact that, they never brought up the fact that Jake Roberts, for example, was a second-generation wrestler. There was a lot of guys that they never talked about were second-generation wrestlers. So I think it's just the fact that they talk about it more now. But I think that, so I would say no. I don't think it hurts the importance of it, because, like I said, it's really something that kind of seems to go through phases. I'll say that, and it won't go through a phase this time. But if you look at the history of pro wrestling, it's something that kind of goes through phases, and it's nothing new. You've always had, kids of wrestlers who got into pro wrestling. So there you go. I'm glad that the Starrcade DVD seems to be doing well, because I want the WWE to release more WCW Based DVDs. Which potential WCW DVD release would you like to see them make? War Games, complete set. I want every War Games, even the crappy late WCW ones. I want them all in a DVD set. Thank you, amen. Since many color commentators are former wrestlers, and what current WWE and TNA stars could end up behind the announcer's desk? Oh, there's tons. To be honest, I could see. I probably wouldn't see HBK doing that. A lot of the guys I could see doing it would probably be more so in TNA. Not that there aren't guys in WWE who could do it, but I don't see them doing it. I could see Kevin Nash doing it. I could see Booker T doing it. I could see even Jeff Jarrett doing it to a degree. Jim Cornette, I imagine at some point, is probably going to do it again. Mick Foley. So I'd see those type of guys. I don't really see guys that are currently in the WWE that I would see. They're probably near the end of their careers that I would, because you don't want to talk about young guys being that. But though Colt Cabana would be very good on commentary, since they're not doing anything else really with him. But that would be where I would put that. So there you go. Hey, Truthslayer, my friend and I are coming down to Houston from Canada and WrestleMania weekend and scored ROH tickets on Friday night. This will be our first ROH show. Can you give us an idea of what to expect? What the venue is? The venue, I don't know which part of the Brown Convention Center they're going to be in, so I can't exactly tell you. But it'll be a small, it's a smaller venue. I think, but I don't know how they're going to have it set up. I'm not sure on all that, so I can't exactly tell you on that. But it'll be a smaller venue. I'd imagine probably set up, hold, a couple of thousand. Couple thousand people, so there you go. What will the matches be like? I don't know, because I don't know what the matches are going to be. I know Nakajima is going to be there, and that's about all I know. And I don't know what the crowd's going to be like either, because, without knowing, and I know I'm not the only one that this is way, because I found this out the other night, that there's a lot of ROH, there's not a lot, but there's a good number of ROH fans in Houston, and the thing is none of us have really done anything like we can, because we do know we can do this, to kind of promote the shows, because we didn't know what was going to be on the shows. We didn't know if Dragon Gate was going to be there. We now know Dragon Gate's not going to be there, and knowing that helps, and we can probably help start promoting the shows and talking up the shows a little bit. But the crowd should be pretty lively. I mean, Houston's a pretty smart crowd, so should be pretty lively though. Why do you think the WWE is reluctant or skeptical in a way of pushing some of their guys? In my eyes, the people who are deserving of them never seem to get them. Why do you think that is? Politics, 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 and politics. That's why. It's for various reasons like that. Sometimes there's more. Like right now, they're de-pushing guys who continually fail the marijuana drug tests. You're not suspended for that, but you are fined for it, and now they're de-pushing you if you continually do that. So there's usually reasons, but usually it's politics, and that's pure and simple. What are your thoughts on Ric Flair signing a multi-show agreement with ROH? I think it's a good deal as long as they just have to. They're going to do a good job of those people who are going to show up for the first time of being to a Ring of Honor show, to make Ring of Honor fans to where they're going to want to watch the TV show or buy the DVDs, that sort of thing. My cable company does not provide me with WGN. Excuse me. What cable company doesn't have WGN? I thought every cable company had WGN. I thought that was like one of the standard basic stations was WGN. I've never not had WGN, and my family has had cable most of my life. So, anyways. So I will not be able to see the new WWE Superstar show. By missing these shows weekly, do you think I will be missing any important storyline points or pay-per-view build-ups, or will it resemble the kind of show that Heat and Velocity used to be? It's going to be like Heat and Velocity, so you're not going to miss anything. Let's see. I brought my tickets for ROH in Houston, thinking that Dragon Gate would perform. I am a fan of Dragon, Nigel Black, and Aries now. I'm now hearing that there is no longer a relationship with ROH and Dragon Gate. This is true. Apparently, people thought it was because of Gabe, but apparently it's not because of Gabe. Apparently, the rumor is Seema is no longer in Dragon Gate, and Seema was really the guy for the U.S. shows in Dragon Gate. And once now that he's kind of parted or out of favor in the company, there is no there's no real want to do U.S. shows. So there you go. What should the Houston fans expect for the 2 WrestleMania weekend shows? I guess they could put on 2 great shows with its own talent, but I was expecting to see talent with Japan and possibly even the rumored stars from AAA. The AAA thing's not happening because AAA is putting on house shows in California. WrestleMania weekend, and actually they're going to put on a show WrestleMania day. They're going to put on a house show, believe it or not, and that seems very odd to me. But like I said, Nakajima was already confirmed for these 2 shows. I would imagine that he might not be the only Japanese talent coming in, so they might be bringing in some Japanese talent for that to help make these shows mean something, which is a good sign. So there we go. Why does the WWE put on a door on the Hell in a Cell cage? Why don't they just lower the cage once all the competitors are in the ring? and then raise the cage once the match is over. Well, here's why. The first Hell in a Cell had a door on it. Why did it have a door on it? Because Kane was going to make his appearance in a run-in, so you're going to have the Kane run-in. Because of that, I would imagine they've just always kept the door on it. That way, that guys also can get outside. They can get up on the cage, on top of the cage if they want. It just gives you some more variety on what you can do. Is why they have to keep the door on there. So there you go. Excluding all the unnecessary pyro and extravagant, exaggerated explosions, could Wrestling Society X have been a good alternative product? Considering the talent they had, Matt Sydal, Teddy Hart, Human Tornado, do you think it was way too commercialized to have been something good? No, I think it could have been okay. Like I said, I have the complete first season, and I thought it was pretty good, particularly if you see the web episodes. The web episodes, which were like the next 30 minutes of the 30-minute shows, were actually usually pretty good, longer matches. I think it could have been pretty good. I think the problem, in my opinion, was that it was very evident, I think after episode 2, that MTV was going to pull the plug on the show, and I think at that point this fan said, well, it's evident MTV doesn't care about this, so why should I care about it? So there you go, and that's why, in my opinion, it really didn't work. So, but I think it would have been okay. But anyways, let's see. Hey, Truthslayer, what do you think of the Sting and Angle match that is going to happen on Impact? I think it will be stupid because they said they're going to clear the Impact Zone. To me, it's another WWE idea with The Rock and Mankind, and I bet TNA will lose money because people might want to see it live, but they won't since of the strip. Stip, what are your thoughts on this? Well, first of all, no one really pays to see Impact. You pay to get into Universal, and then you wait in line, and you just get into the Impact tapings. On top of that, everybody that was they did this match at the end, so everyone got to see Impact, and then apparently they took everybody outside, and they had video cameras up, or video monitors up, so you could actually see what was going on. And then they did the match. I agree with the Rock Mankind thing, and apparently they actually mentioned, for some ungodly reason, that match during the Super Bowl that happened during the Super Bowl halftime show. Instead of, and this is important, doing what they should have done, which is mention Jerry Lawler and Terry Funk. That one is actually a little bit more famous as far as wrestling history goes, and you could have had Jim Cornette bring this up, because apparently the reason why we have the 5-star system, because apparently this is all legend. This is all legend and myth that we're talking about right now. The myth is that Jim Cornette came up with a 4-star system to rate matches. After watching Jerry Lawler and Terry Funk's empty arena match, he said, well, damn, there needs to be, now I got to add a 5th star. So, that is kind of the legend and myth behind that match. To me, that would have been a better match to bring up, and so that way you wouldn't have to be bringing up another WWE type of thing, which you don't need to bring up, so there you go. With Edge being an 8-time champ now, do you think this will start to hurt him and his credibility? I feel that his character fits in well with his short title reigns, but he's starting to rack up a few numbers. People worry way too much about the number of title reigns. They really do. To me, it's not really that big of a deal. I know a lot of people say, oh, but Ric Flair. Ric Flair is not the best wrestler in the world because of how many title reigns he had, or the best wrestler of all time because of how many title reigns he had. He's the best wrestler because of the matches that he put on. That's why. So keep that in mind. Hey, T-Slay, the road to WrestleMania seems to be shaping up. I was wondering your thoughts on what you think they're planning on doing with Chris Jericho, as it seems they are going to continue make him run-ins with legends. Apparently that is the plan, that every city they go to, they're probably going to they might bring out a different legend to kind of confront Chris Jericho, and then the idea is to either have, they're hoping they'll bring Mickey Rourke back into the fold after the Oscars, or they will bring in Flair, or they might bring in Austin. It'll be one of those 3 things. So, there you go. Hey, T-Slay. Some years back, a lot of people said that the brand extension would be good for WWE because they would create twice as many stars. I'm not exactly sure who said that, but okay. Looking back almost 7 years later, do you think that they've done that? No, because as I've continually said, they're completely crap at creating new stars. Now, before anybody says, well, right there, we need to get rid of this brand extension. Ah, ha, ha. Here's the thing. You're definitely not going to get any new stars to get rid of the brand extension because, look at it this way. The top 5 guys, right out of the bat. Taker, Cena, Triple H, Edge, and Orton. None of those guys are going anywhere. You still haven't even gotten to Jericho and Batista, okay, or either of the Hardys. You know, if you go down to one roster, you're not going to have room for new guys. You're going to have a star-studded roster, no question about it. But you're not going to be able to make any new talent. And you know, so the thing is, keep the brand extension, start making some new stars. And that's what they need to do. That's what they've been needing to do forever now, and it's not what they're doing. So, there you go. Okay, now for the question. I think I got 10 of these. People ask me about this, so I'm just going to, this might wind up in a big long rant. I'm going to warn you now. Though not probably where you think the rant would be. Well, maybe some of you. So let's get on with this. What do you think of Bill and Doug PWR announcement? Well, for Bill and Doug, I'm really happy for them because I do know that, and I know people say, I can't believe you said that, but it's true. They've been wanting to do a radio show for a very long time. I'm sure that was part of their idea and why they did the TNA Addicts thing, even though that was not a good fit for them at all. Even, you know, the diehard TNA fans that are on the TNA's own site for the TNA fans didn't think Bill and Doug would be very good at that TNA Addict show. A lot of them actually said that they thought Kent Jones would actually do better because he was better at selling TNA without just going after WWE. That he was just better at selling TNA for what TNA was. And that was Bill and Doug's biggest problem with that, I think. And I think that's why they had a really hard time. And also, they said today that you know, they were asked to basically push crap, and so, you know, and it was hard for them to push stuff that they knew was crap. And I agree, that's not easy, though. You know, I did show them how they could do it, and so, but we won't go into that. But anyways, so I am happy for them there. I know this is what they wanted to do. I do hope, and I will say this, I do hope they're getting something out of this, because I will be the first to tell you, I think PWR gets more out of Bill and Doug for Bill and Doug being on their show than Bill and Doug, in my mind, would get for being on PWR. And that might not make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but in my mind it does. You're talking about, without a doubt, the guys that get the most views, the guys that have the most subscribers. You know, it's not hard for them to get 10,000 views just like that, and so I think that says a lot. And you know, PWR is PWR, and I think, to me, that is the one thing I would say, is that I hope they are getting something out of it, because they deserve to get something out of it, because I think PWR is getting something out of them being on there, and I don't think it's necessarily vice versa. So that said, now a lot of people are going to gripe, because I do think that it is a bit hypocritical of PWR, because of the things that they have said, or things that have been said on their shows when it comes to us, the YouTube community. Now, on the kind of announcement video, Damien did say that, you know, well, none of us, you know, the Cause was the one that said that. I never said that. And it's like, well, no. But you did hint around at it. You did indirectly talk about it enough to where it would be perceived that, you know, you don't have a necessarily high opinion of a lot of people that do what I do, and Bill and Doug do, and the rest of us do, for various reasons. I don't know why that is. I have no idea why that is. But it's the vibe people get, and it is the perception people have. I'm not the only one. Most people would say that. And so, to that degree, it does sound a bit hypocritical, particularly since, as far as I know, and I didn't listen to the whole show, so maybe they did talk about this, but they didn't. I didn't hear them talk about it. About, well, why would they let two YouTube guys on their show like that, as a weekly show? Now, I did listen to their show that they just did. This was the first show they did, and I guess the first official show was going to be on the 3rd, I believe, is what they said. And but this was just kind of like a preview, I guess, maybe just to see how it worked out or whatever. But I thought they did pretty good. That they did let Bill and Doug kind of be Bill and Doug. I was kind of wondering how that was going to work, because the way Bill and Doug commentate are not the way the PWR guys commentate per se. Though it does work a little better on the radio, because the PWR guys do a little bit different show for their radio show.